The circus was in town last night at TD Garden, with the referees serving as the head clowns. A couple of egregious missed calls and outright terrible calls certainly put a damper on the night as Boston continues to struggle to stay out of the box. On a positive note, Zacha not only got a shot on net, he scored a goal, and we love that for him. Unsarcastically, time for the Bruins to get back down to business with the hobbling Vancouver Canucks coming to town. Do we think they will stay out of the box for this one? This is a Bruins tape-to-tape snapshot.
The Boston Bruins hosted the Edmonton Oilers on Thursday night at the TD Garden and lost that game by a score of 3-1. All in all, the Bruins played a solid 5-on-5 game against the Oilers. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on scoring opportunities, nor were they able to capitalize on the fact that Tristan Jarry left the game for the Oilers in the second period and was replaced in net by the Oilers' backup Picard. The scoring was started by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the first period on a power play goal, and if there was one thing that the Bruins couldn't let happen too often, it was allowing the Oilers to get on the power play, because they are one of the most dangerous teams in the league on the power play. Pavel Zacha answered back in due time with a power play goal of his own, and so the Bruins headed into the first period, the end of the first period, with a score of 1-1. Unfortunately, in the second period, the Bruins lost a 5-on-5 battle along the wall, and it sprung Quinn Hudson to score his first goal as an NHL player. And then in the third period, we saw the magic and the beauty of Connor McDavid. He scored a shorthanded goal, and there was no one on the planet that was going to be able to catch Connor McDavid as he skated in looking like he was flying, which likely he was, and the rest of the Bruins were standing around. Now, I know that this is a Bruins snapshot, but folks, as a hockey fan, you can't deny the fact that Connor McDavid is one of the best players, if not the best player on the planet. And watching him skate is a marvel. It is unbelievable what this player can do when he gets the opportunity. And sadly, the Bruins provided that opportunity on a power play in allowing a shorthanded goal. Those two errors is what sunk the Bruins, losing a 5-on-5 battle to allow Quinn Hudson to score his first NHL goal, and then being unable to keep track of Connor McDavid and providing him with way too much ice. He is simply unstoppable, folks. Next up for the Bruins are the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday night. The Canucks have been in a bit of a free fall this season, particularly recently, as they traded their star player Quinn Hughes to the Minnesota Wild. The Bruins need to take advantage of a team like the Vancouver Canucks, who have been a bit of a disappointment yet again and are trying to find their way back into some semblance of competitive hockey. The Bruins have shown us that they do have the ability to take advantage of teams like the Vancouver Canucks, and I expect the Bruins to have a bounce-back game on Saturday night.
This entire season is weird. Besides the ridiculous number of injuries and the intense schedule, the entire Eastern Conference is just nuts. Case in point, not only can a single win or loss bump you up or down in the standings significantly, the Bruins currently have the second most wins in the East, but they only have 40 points, and they are 7th in the conference. Why? Because Boston is currently the only team in the league, without an overtime loss. They have no loser points. 5 of the 6 teams ahead of Boston have fewer wins, ranging anywhere from 17 to 19 wins. And all 6 teams have anywhere from 2 to 6 overtime losses. That's bonkers. I don't know if this is a controversial hot take, but in my opinion, if an overtime win is considered just a win, then an overtime loss should be just a loss. No points. The Canucks are doing their Northeast tour right now, and they play Boston on the second night of a back-to-back. They hit up the Isle on Friday, opting to play Thatcher Demko against Sorokin, and they're using their backup Lankinen against the Bees. As of this recording, a starter for the Bruins has yet to be named, but it wouldn't surprise me if we see Corpy in net. Lankinen has played 17 games and has a fairly average GSA-X at a -1, but his save percentage and goals against average aren't all that good. An .878 save percentage and 3.49 goals against. Not that Corpy has much of a leg to stand on when it comes to his stats on paper. He's only played 13 games, so his GSA-X stats are still kind of in flux, with about a -2, and he's got an .888 save percentage and a 3.35 goals against average. But it's Corpy's timing that has really made him a valuable asset this season. We've said it time and time again. He comes up huge when the Bruins need him to, and that has given the skaters the motivation to get that momentum back on Boston's side. Obviously, the Canucks are without their former captain, and this team is quite literally at rock bottom, in dead last place. Now, we've seen how the Bees have a tendency to make any goalie, but especially a no-name or a less-than-great goalie, look like a Vezina candidate. But for the love of God, Boston, don't do it on Saturday. Make sure you rate and review the podcast to help us reach more listeners, and tune in weekly to our full podcast available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and all podcast platforms.